Good morning, Queens. Welcome to today's Audacity to Rule call. So, today we're going to start diving back in, talking about Hadassah Come Forth, and we are going to focus on communication. Queenly communication is something that is done in a way that is very articulate, very clear in your message. You understand the right time, the right strategy to be able to communicate what you have to say. And it's without apology because you know exactly what your intent is, you know exactly what your message is, you know exactly what your heart is behind it. And therefore, you're able to go ahead and flow because it's authentic to you. Again, not in a way that detracts from anyone else, not in a way that tears down wounds or hurts, but a way that is very specific, right? So, going back to the story of Hadassah, also known as Queen Esther, when she had to communicate to the king, her husband, about the perils that were coming upon her people. She was very strategic, she was very clear, she was very wise when she did so, right? And so being queen in your communication is both a combination of both masculine and feminine energy flowing in tandem. And when one part needs to show up, it does. And when the other part needs to show up, it does. And so, as queens, we should not be communicating from a place of we're lower than. And we do that a lot of times in just our biggest basic communication. For example, we start off when you want to ask somebody a question, you say something like, this is probably a stupid question, but, right, you've already detracted from yourself in the beginning of your communication. Or you might say something like, sorry to bother you, as if your presence or your question is a bother or a disruption to someone else's life. As queen, you are an addition to whatever atmosphere that you come into, right? And so you're welcome, okay, that I'm here. And I have this question of clarity because it's going to give you the opportunity to communicate with clarity so you understand what you got to say and what you're teaching, right? And it gives me the opportunity to learn. You're welcome, right? I just made you a teacher, okay? So there's no need for me to be sorry to bother you because I didn't bother you at all. I'm helping you to be great, okay? Or we say other things like, I hope you don't mind. Why would they mind? Okay, the queen has showed up in their presence. So we just queens talking amongst queens. Of course you don't mind, right? You're welcome again, right? So it immediately, when we say things like that in our communication, immediately takes us down from our position as queen to something low level. And it makes me think of there's this thing called a hero's journey, right? And so we see it a lot of times in all the movies that we love. So Star Wars, we see that. We see that in a lot of other movies that we love. But the one I'm going to talk about today, y'all might like The Wizard of Oz, right? I love The Wiz, okay? So probably because all that singing and dancing and they black. But anyway, in both of the stories, the characters that are around Dorothy, so the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and those characters that were around her represented inner parts of her character, right? How she saw herself, how she believed herself to be. And so she's going on this journey and she has these characters along herself accompanying her on this journey, on this hero's journey to her actually becoming and finding her most authentic self. And so in that story, she had a lion in her personality, but the lion that she carried was cowardly. The lion would not speak up. The lion was timid and afraid, right? She had the scarecrow, which was brilliant, but doubted his brilliance at all times, did not believe himself to be smart, even though he knew all of the information. You had the Tin Man, who was not in control of his emotions. He thought he didn't have no heart, right? And so you see her going on this journey to find herself and to step into the trueness of who she is, to only realize at the end that she is a lion. She is bold. She is fearless, right? She is a person who loves and loves greatly. She is a person who is highly intelligent and can communicate herself properly because she stepped into her queendom, right? And so, us, like Dorothy, in our own hero's journey or heroine journey, however you want to say it, we go through this process of understanding and finding ourselves. And what we thought that we were not, or what we thought that was a handicap to us or was a negative to us, is actually a count of wonderfulness to us. The thing that you hate the most about you, I guarantee if you ask other people about it, they're going to say, I love that about you. For example, people with freckles. A lot of people with freckles hate, before this new trend with everybody, going to get freckles on their face. People with freckles hated having freckles. They like, oh my God, it makes me ugly. But the people who don't got no freckles, like, oh my God, I wish I had freckles. Oh, them freckles are so cute. You was the cutest little face ever on the planet, right? But the people who had the freckles like, no, this is ugly. So again, stepping into your queendom and understanding that being your most authentic self is a blessing to both you and the people that you come into contact with, because you are a workmanship of God, one that needs not be afraid, right? So he put his hands on you. I mean, like, how much better can it get? God made this, okay? Yes, you're welcome. Okay, I'm just saying. So if God made this in his image and his likeness, what could be wrong? Nothing. Nothing, right? And so we have to understand and take on that mentality of truth as we are operating in our day to day, moment to moment, second to second lives, and not go into the things that we have learned from society, we've learned from our parents, we've learned from our friends, our community, we've learned from church or whoever, that makes us lower ourselves with fake humility. And it's really negative self-talk and really us discounting ourselves and really us tearing ourselves down. And we're communicating from this place of, I'm not good enough. Right? So when we come into a conversation and we say stuff like, sorry to bother you again, and I hope you don't mind, and I know it's a stupid question. Well, if I'm absolutely brilliant, I don't ask stupid questions. It's impossible. How make it make sense? Make that connect. Okay? If I got the mind of Christ, okay, I'm connected to the creator of all the universe, all the wisdom and knowledge that ever was, is, and is to come. How can I ask a stupid question? Exactly. So stop doing that to yourself, okay? Stop doing that to my fellow queens. Stop it. Just stop it, okay? So a lot of times, again, we're communicating that way because we've been trained by, external forces that that's how you're supposed to be, that your very existence is an interruption. And oh my God, how dare you think greatness of yourself? Oh, you cocky, you conceited, you are lofty, you are all these negative words, right? Because you are assured of yourself and you are assured of who he created you to be. You understand your purpose, you understand your identity, and you flow in that, right? But only insecure people, only people who live in trauma, only people who don't value the greatness, the brilliance in other people have an issue with people being their most authentic, wonderful, great self. Because if I'm being my most authentic, wonderful, great self, and you being your most authentic, wonderful, great self, hey, we are having a great time, okay? Because I can't ask you to be no truer than what you being if you being all the true you can be, right? But if I don't see myself in the proper light and I don't understand my own identity, then I look at you and I'm mad. You mad? Oh, you big mad, right? Y'all heard that song? I've been on TikTok, y'all. Let me live, okay? Tell the people around you, let you live. Well, actually, you ain't got to say nothing to them. You just live. You don't need their permission. I take that back. You don't need their permission. Just live. Be great. And the people who are for you will show up to participate, cheer you on, help you, support you. And the ones that are not, it's all right because what the Lord said He do, He will prepare a table. Hey, come on now. In the presence of thine enemies. Okay, that's what He said. So I am the table. Let Him prepare it. Okay, in the presence of thine enemies. And it's okay, right? Because at the end of the day, you walking in your purpose and your greatness also unlocks the ability for others to see, others to have the example of how to walk in their most authentic self. It is freeing when you are free, right? Because as one of my mentors says, my leaders, only free people can free people. And likewise, hurt people hurt people. Okay. So don't be the one that's hurt out here hurting people, vomiting your emotional lava on people, tearing people down. Okay. Whenever you come into an atmosphere, the goal as queen is to leave that atmosphere better than what it was before you got there. And that starts again with your communication and knowing very matter of factly who you are. And therefore, when you speak, it is in value, it is in love, it is in truth, it is in authenticity, it is clear, it is concise. You don't mix words, you don't waste words. There is no misunderstanding in what you had to say or how you're carrying yourself and what you have to do. And so, again, going back to Hadassah, also known as Queen Esther, when she had to come into the king's presence in the midst of the enemy being present, at her invitation, she had to be very concise in her wording. And so, again, she flowed from her feminine to her masculine energy. At one point, she was serving, she was nurturing, she was loving, she was kind. And then when she needed to, she stepped into her masculine energy and she was commanding, she was directing, and she was authoritative, right? And so, as queens, we have to understand when we're operating in our identity and we know our purpose and we know our truth, that there is a flow that comes from us. And we can step in and out of whatever energy is necessary for us to demonstrate or accomplish whatever the goal or task is.
Hey, Queen, we would love to hear your feedback based on the topic that we just spoke about. If you would want to share that with us, feel free to send us an email at serve@crownedqueenchi.com. All right, we look forward to hearing from you.